Hello, class. Today's the last class of the year before summer. Yay! For our final lesson of the year, we're going to be analyzing minion waves and their impact on the early game. Now, can anyone tell me what
Woo!
wave the first cannon minion comes?
Yeah.
Excuse me, Trav.
Yeah. What's up,
You're
bro?
15 minutes late to class.
Sorry, man. I was just shredding. Got lost in my own thoughts. Had some Paramore in my ears.
Lost in your own thoughts.
Yeah.
It's the last day of school. You need to graduate. You're failing my class.
Failing is a harsh term. One thing I'm not failing at is living life. Summer is full of everything. Do you ever want to just go out there and hang 10, bro?
Hang 10? What are you talking about?
Shred some pipe.
Who shred? But you need school. You need to graduate. What about your future?
Man, summer is my future. Bro,
Summer's your future?
You just don't get me. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to take my board. I'm going to shred it down the street. I'm going to do all sorts of crazy things. I'm going to hit up the pipes. I'm going to hit up some waves. I'm going to spend some time in summer just playing some video games, bro. What are we even doing here in this class, man? What are we even doing here? It's summertime, baby. And you know what? Path to LCS is on right now?
Yep. Oh no, Sniper, don't take the bait, bro. Don't take the bait. Don't fall for it. The World Ender does get dropped, but the smokes are coming out here. They're trying to find something, but just too much healing coming up from Sniper. He's a big boy, and Lawrence is not. He's quite small. He's doing a whole lot of damage. Can he try and get so here? He's so close.
He has to stealth immediately out of this brush and wouldn't have to for the fight. He's doing it all the same.
Here we go. Cyclone lands on a 3. The fight might have begun. Beautiful scatter of the week coming out from Toasty, but Existence coming in with the teleport as well. Looking Lullaby lands on a 2. Toasty in a bit of trouble. Will get taken down, but he has the wild growth on top of him. Watch Sonar on the backside. He's still alive. He's still doing damage, but finally Deke Lerman takes him down.
Got that superior wave there. We do see the calling coming out from Sketch, trying to find anything on Azog here. It's going to get him somewhat low, but won't quite find anything. Curtain call does get dropped, though. The flash coming out from Sketch to escape, and so the 3-man body block should keep him alive. But look at that from the back line. Huge cycle coming out, and they grab 3. They grab
that 3k HP, just trying to see what he can do. They peeled off Baron. It has reset. The Vanguard's edge. Leo has gone in.
GSL!
Arrow just going in deep. Samuno trying to see what he can do into the back line. He is cleaning house in the back line, and now it's the solo laners trying to see what they can make happen. G-Song trying to see if he can snip down the HP bars a little further, but they get divided. And jump to get to safety, but he's cut
the
off.
TP flanks
here. They got the double TP, and it is just going to be them going berserk. The Super Mega Death Rocket doesn't pick up anything. They got Warren over onto the side, and it is Robbie Bob putting on a clinic. Aaron's all on his own, and CLG Town will soon follow as Robbie Bob gets a triple kill.
Taco Gaming looking to press in onto the second hitter. Gorka is face tanking and takes down Actor. This is the tank Kog'Maw. Oh my goodness, so much damage, so much durability. Gorka has been officially unlocked here in this game. A triple kill. Could be more as well. Ariandel in a lot of trouble. Citywitty going to dash forward. Tomato and the Galio underneath the fountain. They don't want to go for it just yet. Gorka could tank a little bit more. That's an unofficial quadra kill for the Kog'Maw, and the aggression for Supernova was good. But did you ever have the doubt?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Path to LCS channel. We are ready to get into the Proving Ground Circuit Qualifier. My name is Travesty, and I am joined here with my teacher friend, MLBD.
Hey.
How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. I love it. It's college week, it's teacher week, and being a teacher myself, it's so much fun.
Yeah, I was about to say we had a little bit of fun, a little bit of spice there, but we're ready to get into it and sit down and learn some good old League of Legends, because the theme, like you said,
Yes,
we're talking some school. We're looking to see his classes in session here between these two teams, and we got an exciting day here in front of us for our action.
Yeah, unbelievably exciting games, and we get to look at two teams that we covered last week, and then we get to take a first look at a couple of other teams for us officially, so I'm super excited. We've got two absolutely thrilling series today.
Absolutely thrilling, for sure. As you look at how everybody ends up going through it, you see Day 4 has some fun games coming our way. As you can already see, some of the matches are underway. We got Group A, Group B showing over here, as Group B has already had their fate decided. They have one more match to figure out who's going to be that second seed coming out, while Group A has a lot to be decided today.
Yeah, for sure. Group A is going to be, it really is up in the air. I feel like it is going to be quite close between the different matchups that we're going to be seeing. And then, as you said, Group B, yesterday's matches, I'm pretty sure it was 4 2-0s across both streams yesterday. So not the most competitive games. Hopefully we can get some game 3s today.
Yeah, there were some insane games, though, man. I'm telling you, C&D brought us some insane stuff as well. Most notably, the CLG Faith versus 300 game, keeping their life alive. They got a 2-0, but, woo, man, it was a heart attack waiting. And Supernova, a team that you would have a little bit of probably some personal bias in MLBD, punched their way in yesterday as well.
Love seeing Supernova make it. I think they've got a really strong roster. And then also, I love the philosophy behind Supernova. So seeing them, not only did they beat AOE randoms, they 2-0'd AOE randoms. And the fact that they keep their tournament lives, you know, still alive, it's super exciting. And as you said, CLG Faith, we had the opportunity to cover them last week. Seeing them bounce back from a really close 2-1 loss to 2-0-300, that was not something I predicted. But nevertheless, CLG Faith keep their tournament run alive, and they make it to the final match of the tournament.
And check out our matchups for the day, as that's going to be very important. Over on the Academy channel, you do have EG Prodigies taking on Taco Gaming on Taco Tuesday. And then you got 100 Thieves Nets taking on Maryville. While over here in our channel, we got AOE versus Team Pending. And then we've got an elimination match between Cincinnati Fear and DK Crew.
Yeah, heartbreaking, the second match, right? The fan favorite, Cincinnati Fear versus DK Crew. It's tough to pick between these different series. It's going to be great games, Travesty.
I might cry at the end of today. Who knows? We'll have to see. It could be a heartbreaker, but we have our predictions as well. I'm seeing if people... Nobody went Taco Gaming on a Taco Tuesday? Heathens.
Oh, wow. You know, honestly, after week 1, I was feeling really good. I didn't realize how rough this week has been for me. Me, Rude Dude, and Beatdown, we're all tied at 7. But I will say, like I said last week, at least we're still above you. So we're not quite in last place yet. That is true. If Taco Gaming pulls out the dub, my friend, you could take me over today.
Yeah, not even just Taco Gaming, man. You
and
me
that's
are
true.
Completely different on everything since 100 Thieves. This, this might be my first clean sweep day.
Oh, I don't know about that, my friend. You're a little ahead of yourself there. I don't know, Chief.
Well, every sweep's got to start somewhere. We're going into today's game, though, and it's starting off with us here with AOE taking on Team Pending. These are two teams looking to lock in their first seed, and they've got some interesting stories between the two of them.
They certainly do, and one thing that really ties into our theme of school being out and all, the celebration of collegiate is the fact that both of these teams, not only are they going to be facing each other today in Proving Grounds with their amateur organizations of AOE Esports and Team Pending, but they're also going to be facing each other later this week under two different teams, University of St. Thomas and University of Western Ontario, which is going to be very exciting. For Western Ontario, you've got Winston, you've got Lynx, you've got Skytech, you've got Loyal. And then over on Team Pending, underneath the banner of University of St. Thomas, you've got Kitsuo, Robbie Bob, and Chookies, the core of that team. And not only that, but you've got Topo, who's also a member of Bay State as well. So the fact that we're blessed with so many collegiate players within this first series alone, I believe that's 8 collegiate players, although Skytech is actually the coach of UWO. So 7 players and 1 coach for UWO. That is so exciting.
It really is. And it's also exciting just from the prospect of not even just collegiate, but it's also exciting for amateur, because you're seeing even like these amateur orgs, they're going into the collegiate scene now, because the collegiate scene has started defining itself more and more. There's been an influx of talent in there, and thus there's been a lot of prospects that have been coming into the amateur scene that have been making their name known here inside the Proving Grounds, and we get to see them going against each other today. And as you said, a lot of these players, they're playing on 2 different patches. C-Lil Top 8 happens at the end of the week, and they're playing on 12.9, while we're over here on 12.10. So I'm very excited to see what these players are going to be doing. I want to see exactly how the head-to-head faces with each other. I am curious. I do see that graphic says that we have Loyal in. So that does make me think that Loyal subbed in last time because Lynx was having some tech difficulties. Wonder if we'll get to see Loyal again.
Yeah, that could be interesting. I think Loyal, although not hard carrying last week, certainly played a pivotal role in the success of AOE. So the fact that Loyal could potentially be playing again for them this week, I think could be something that maybe throws a wrench in Team Pending's, preparation for the match.
Could it be exactly what is needed? A little sprinkle of chaos into the mix. And that's exactly all you can need at sometimes. It messes up the other team's planning and whatnot. But, I gotta say, when we're talking about planning, I look over at Team Pending and I feel like they got a plan that nobody knows, not even themselves sometimes. they are chaos incarnate with the amount of veteranship and years they've put into the game. They are ready to pull anything out.
My favorite thing from last week, well, actually two things. First off, the Ivern Rengar that we got in game 1. I mean, how can you not love that? It is a combination that you've heard rumors of it from collegiate and amateur, even pro play, but you never really see it. And so when you actually get to see that combination pulled out, and it worked so well. The durability patch as well makes Rengar just a little bit tankier. You've got the Ivern to shield and heal you as well. It was so unbelievably strong at game 1 of last week, and it is the reason that they won, right? Kitsuo was carrying that game for his team. But the other thing that I really like about Team Pending was actually in their winner's interview, when you were interviewing one of their players and you were asking him about, were you looking for any spicy drafts in game 3? You guys ended up going standard. And he said that the players really, really wanted to do something spicy, but they toned it back, right? They're kind of hiding some picks. They're hiding some strategies. So who the heck knows what they're going to use now? Because again, if they lose this match, they just go to the lower bracket. Their tournament's not over yet. So they've bought themselves that one game that they can kind of experiment with, that one series, excuse me. They can experiment. They can try out some new things. So I'm really excited to see what Team Pending decides to sort of unravel within this series.
Yeah, they could unwrap a gift for us here, and it could be some more chaos. That is for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm always down for that. But I want to also talk about the unpredictable talent that is on both of these rosters here. You look at both of them. In one hand, you have a much more documented player in the amateur scene in Zamudo that I feel like is somebody who's been getting hyped up quite a bit ever since last Proving Grounds. A lot of people are very hyped for him. Team Pending, a team full of veterans that have more years than any other team, I feel like. They got a fresh newbie. They got Masu, who had a very impressive week 1.
Yeah, certainly. I think it's a very interesting balance. And this is how an amateur team, in my opinion, should be built, right? You've got Topo, who played 4 years at the University of Illinois, and he's also played amateur on top of that, now playing for Bay State. Kitsuo has been around the block. This guy's been on teams for years. Robbie Bob as well, somebody who's been around the scene since 2019. Chuki's much the same. And then you balance that out with a very high challenger player in Masu. When I was speaking with Kitsuo before this series, actually, he was saying that they were looking for 80 carries to fill out their roster after they had that UST core, their mid laner, their jungler, and their support. They were looking for an 80 carry, and they went on the ladder, and they were just looking at high challenger, really mechanically skilled 80 carries, and Masu was somebody that rose to the top of that list. So the fact that he is 17 years old, this is his rookie split, it's going to be really fun to track his progress, not only over this Proving Grounds tournament, but future Proving Grounds tournaments as well, because I really do think that he is a star in this league, and this is the kind of series where you make a name for yourself.
And this is how you show it, and this is how you showcase it. This is where you want to be able to do this. This is where you are most valuable as a prospect, when you're able to get onto the stage and show everybody exactly what you got. But AOE's looking to do the same, man. Like, they've got lot of people over onto their side that they're looking to try and get going. They're trying to get stuff going. Like I said, the darling over there would definitely be Zamudo. Everybody kind of looking over at Zamudo and being like, wow, super top. And top is stacked. Right? Like, ever since last season, every time I look at top lane, I'm like, it's very hard to declare a winner because every top laner is so good.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like top is one of those roles in amateur that really has such a depth of talent, but we're going to have to see. Zamudo had a great last week. We're going to have to see what sort of picks and strategies he has lined up for this week, but we are getting ourselves into draft. I'm very interested to see what sort of adaptations both TBA and AOE make, because they have film on each other now, right? We are in week 2 of this tournament. They had the opportunity to watch in its entirety the strategies that these teams utilized in game 1. Is Ivan Rengar going to be banned? Is Senna potentially going to be banned? There's so many options for this series. I'm interested to see how it's going to go.
I think everybody is right there with you on that. We're going through the bans, and already we are seeing Zamudo getting targeted. No Gwen, no Fiora, not allowed. And AOE says, get that cheese out of here. We are lactose intolerant. We ain't dealing with it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that is such a good ban to use on Rengar, because it's one of those champions where nobody you're scrimming against is playing Ivan Rengar, right? You're not really seeing it in solo queue. So you have no practice against it. And sure, you can theory craft some strategies and things like that. But besides that, you really don't have experience against it. And so I love using a ban to get rid of that. They do ban the Fiora and Gwen, but Zamudo still has access to that Aatrox, which he used to absolutely wreak havoc in their match last week. So I'm interested to see if AoE maybe looks towards that. Wukong first pick does not surprise anybody.
Yeah, if you have to ban out all the spice, the very strong pickets that are out there that define the meta are available. So Wukong, easy pick. AoE though, you were talking about some top laners out there. Gangplank is still open.
Ooh, that's a great point. Zamudo's Gangplank, I believe, was banned against him in every single game last week. A champion that people fear in his hands. So the fact that he could get Gangplank this early, he's one of those champions that is very, very difficult to counter, right? There are lane matchups that you can take into Gangplank and you can passively scale up and you can try and match him. But it is very difficult to actually hard counter Gangplank and punish him in the lane, especially when the Gangplank player is very skilled like Zamudo is. And I really like pairing that alongside the Trundle, right? Because Trundle is going to be able to provide some safety. He's going to be able to provide some utility, but Kog'Maw is the perfect response travesty.
Yeah, Kog'Maw is going to be a possible victory horn for them to be able to grab. And guess what? They can grab Lulu to go along with it. So they can have quite a formidable Kog'Maw to have to deal with.
Yeah, and Kog'Maw Lulu, this sort of Juggernaut composition of old, this was something that was really popular in 2015, 2016. It is making a rise after this durability patch, right? If you pair it alongside an Enchanter and you take Resolve secondary in your runes, you can be a very bulky Kog'Maw, and you're still dealing that percentage health damage and ripping through team compositions. Trundle is not going to be able to tank that for very long, but I like the Syndra here. Syndra is one of those mages that has very long effective range. You're going to be able to not only engage from very long away with Scatter the Weak, you're going to be able to look for some burst damage onto Kog'Maw and try to finish him off, or maybe even the Lulu off before the Juggernaut can really get rolling.
Yeah, I feel like the idea too, like you were just talking about, getting rid of that Lulu. Hey, look, that Lulu can polymorph somebody, can do all sorts of annoying things inside the team fight. Just get it off the table right off the get-go, and all of a sudden, Juggernaut doesn't feel as effective. So we're going into the second ban phase, and we are seeing it is going to be Lynx that is playing, so it's not loyal. So this is going to be our first look inside a group stage with Lynx on the team, as he had some tech difficulties last time. See how Lynx is doing in this.
Yeah, it is certainly going to be interesting. And one thing to keep in mind, since these teams are collegiate teams playing in top 8, how much practice have they gotten this past week in terms of actual scrim time, right? Because they traveled to Los Angeles, they're not on their home setups. That is an Ashe lock-in. That is a champion I have not seen in a hot minute.
Yeah, I was about to say, Ashe has not gotten some playtime in quite a bit in competitive, so very excited for that. I do want to know what build path we are going to see on the Ashe. We do see the Corki lock-in, so it is going to be Robbie Bob taking something standard. Very standard composition to start things off here for Team Pending. Is this going to be an Ashe support?
Ooh, it might be. Ashe support is something that has actually been on the rise in terms of, challenger solo queue and things like that. It would not surprise me to actually see Ashe support in this game, paired alongside Ziggs. Could potentially be Syndra bot lane, but I think Ziggs is the more standard bot laner nowadays. That is so much poke, so much wave control coming through from that combination, because you're probably going to have Arcane Comet on the Ashe support. You're spamming your W. You've got Mana Flow banned. those volleys combined with Ziggs's poke damage, that's going to be very difficult for the Kog'Maw Lulu to sustain through, because sure, Lulu has a little bit of shielding, but there's no natural healing that's coming through from that bot lane. There's no Soraka, there's no Nami, so you can't really tank that damage forever. So you can really try to just whittle them down and just win the war of attrition in the bot lane. But we're going to have to see where these champions eventually end up going, and it looks to be
Ash support.
Yeah, Ash support with the Ziggs.
Who said ARAM won't teach you anything, man?
As far as I'm aware, that might be our first look at Ash support within Proving Grounds so far. I'm not 100% sure on that. I can double check that as soon as
I'm going to claim it as fact.
Yeah, it would very much surprise me if there has been an Ash support played so far within this tournament. But this is exciting. And as you were saying in draft, Team Pending, a very stock standards team composition for them, right? This is something that they played last week, except for they had a Victor in the mid lane for Robbie Bob. Corki fills a very similar role. Masu as well was on a different AD carry. But you've got the backline AD carry, the backline mage mid laner, and then you've got engage from your top and jungle, and a support that can help facilitate the rest of the team. So Team Pending has really all the pieces they need, all the pieces that worked for them last week. Over on the other side, AOE with a very unique team composition, but I do see a way that it works.
Yeah, my worry, and this is my worry, looking at AOE, is very inconsistent damage in terms of like the Ashe, right? Because you're going like the Imperial Mandate. That's gonna be a little bit weird. We see that happen quite a bit where you say, all right, I don't want the marksman. A support Ashe does not feel that marksman role at all.
Yeah, honestly, you are lacking a marksman here, and you've got the Gangplank to make up for some of that physical damage as well. Trundle could also opt for a more damage-focused build, something like a Divine Sunderer. But it's really going to be on Zamudo to have not only a good laning phase, but also good team fighting this game. Because if you don't have the AoE AD damage coming in from the Gangplank, your team composition can be itemized against pretty easily, right? You have a lot of upfront burst damage, not a lot of sustained damage. So if there's a good engage from Team Pending and they can blow up a member or two, it's going to be difficult for AoE to come back. But on the other side, if AoE can get a foothold in this game, they can choke out TBA pretty easily, because you can look to poke if you take control of the river. You can look to try and, punish them underneath their turrets, get some early turret platings. AoE has a lot of directions they can go with this team composition.
Yeah, and just to give everybody a heads up, I know you guys like to see our gorgeous faces. There is some tech difficulties, which is why we are over here for a bit. So we're just going to take a little bit more time to kind of talk about things. The scaling that's there, I believe the game is good. So now that we got all the tech difficulties finished, we got TBA. We got Team Pending taking on AOE. We're getting onto the Rift here in our first game of the day.
Yes, sir. And our first look at these teams after their week 1 dominant wins, right? We've got two teams looking to punch their ticket into the playoffs of the first tournament of the Proving Grounds circuit. And I think both teams are drafting a team composition that they're relatively comfortable with, right? We saw Team Pending, as I said earlier, they had a very similar team comp and it worked well last week. Over on the other side, AoE, this isn't something we saw last week from them, but you're not drafting this kind of a team composition if you're not comfortable playing it. So I'm interested to see what sort of early game shenanigans they are up to with Pinkboard on Winnie in the jungle. I wonder where that's going to be used.
Yeah, it should be very, very interesting. Possibly look to use it defensively. I'll be honest. I immediately was like, all right, I need to check the keystones immediately. Like, I was like, what are they running? What are they running? Double Comet, dude. I feel so bad for this Kog'Maw. But also, like, as I was going through and looking at the keystone, like, Double Comet, that sucks. That's gonna be miserable to play against. This is a ghost Kog'Maw, man.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I really do like the Ghost on Kog'Maw, because honestly, you can run Exhaust, but in a game like this, there's no real threat that you need to exhaust, because if you're going to die, they're going to be outside of exhaust range, right? Syndra is going to kill you from outside of exhaust range. Ashe and Ziggs poke, Gangplank barrels. All of that is going to happen from a range that you really can't exhaust from. Make Chukis take the heal, and then use Ghost to try and maneuver these team fights even better. Dodge all of these skill shots. Really, take control of the fight. So I do like the fact that Masu's going for Ghost. It shows to me that he's very comfortable on Kog'Maw.
Yeah, this is a player like we were talking about, hyping him up. This is an amateur player this is their first time playing in a competitive setting. They have been grinding out the challenger ladder. They have been on that climb. They have been rising and grinding, and now they are looking to display that. And hey, look, if there's a champion to display that on, getting that positioning right on the Kog'Maw, making sure that you're putting yourself in the right position is a great one to be able to showcase your abilities on.
Yeah, Kog'Maw is a champion. We've seen it already in this tournament last week. Kog'Maw has been dominating. He's been banned multiple times. He's been picked a few times. And he has just been such a strong AD carry in this durability patch meta because he's got that percentage health damage, right? He's able to really take control of these fights, to get... He's so good with these Enchanter supports that have risen to popularity. The Lulus, the potential Jannas, who we haven't quite seen Janna quite yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a team or two that's willing to whip it out. But Kog'Maw pairs so well in this meta with so many of the other picks around him.
Yeah, like enchanters in general, just very nice, nifty. And also, I know we talk about the enchanters. I like the fact that they do have a nice little front line for it, as we do see Young laying in some good damage. A player that we really didn't touch on too much has had quite the long career as well. As you can see, Kitsuo,
ooh, he failed his clone.
Yeah, he's in a bad place. Has the flash. Isn't going to get hit by anything further. Nice. Valkyrie away. Robbie Bob repositioning. Winnie taking in some damage. Chomping and taking a bite out. The flash over the wall. First blood.
Wow.
Winnie's got chickens on the mind.
Wow, well played by Winnie there, flashing over the wall, going for the smite heal, knowing that Young had the damage to finish off that kill. And that's huge, right? Kitsuo not able to use that clone to get over the wall. We're going to have to maybe catch a replay of that to see what ultimately happened there in that skirmish. But that's big, right? That's double buffs onto Syndra, blue buff most importantly onto Syndra. And we saw Robbie Bob was already taking a beating. Now it's going to be even worse.
The power of Trundle Pillar, man. That's all I got to say, man. Like, that absolutely had to be a big cause of it. And look at this. Robbie Bob is having such a hard time. Kitsuo is here trying to see if he can get vengeance, but it's not enough. And this is why you got to pay attention to Young in the mid lane. 2 kills, 4 minutes in.
Young is playing this game so well at this point. Really clean 1v1 there, knowing he has the flash to escape Kitsuo. And at this point, the lane seems quite over for the Corki, right? As long as Young plays respectfully around Kitsuo ganks, he's going to have all of the damage that he needs. Lost Chapter on his first base. He's going to be poking away, but potential dive in the bot lane for AOE.
Yeah, this is the hard life of a Kog'Maw Lulu. You got no mobility, but a nice flash just keep themselves alive. And Skytech did get dropped down fairly low. They don't really have a tank in this composition besides this Trundle once he gets some itemization.
That is exactly why you draft the Ziggs and the Ashe bot lane, right? It is quite similar to things like Ziggs Karma. You just want to take control of the wave. You want to poke every single opportunity you can get, stack up large minion waves, and then call your jungler or your mid laner or even like a Gangplank ult down to the bot lane and look to punish those stack waves with dives, right? So there we see 4 summoners burnt for the side of Team Pending. However, they do actually manage to hold on, which means that Masu's not going to fall too far behind in CS and XP. He's just going to fall behind in terms of his summoners being blown, which means that AOE, they've got their eyes set on the bot lane as soon as Winnie can get down there.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to get Winnie back down there. And hey, look, Zamudo is about to be level 6, right? He's going to be able to call in the cannons and lay in some damage like you were talking about. So that 3.5 person dive is what we're going to call it, that could come into the bot lane, could be miserable for this bot lane.
It's going to be very difficult to deal with because normally your response to that is either calling your jungler down to help you or maybe, using one of your soul lane's teleports. Robbie Bob has no teleport. Topo is not in any position to look to teleport down. And also, Kitsuo has burned his flash already. So all of those factors combined means that as soon as this wave bounces back to Lynx or Skytech, or as soon as Lynx and Skytech can stack a wave and look for a dive, there's not a lot of guaranteed support that can come in from Team Pending to defend their bot lane. AOE definitely has their sights on looking for a dive, but we do have an early game replay from before. Kitsuo not quite getting that clone over the wall means he's got a flash, and Young playing this so well, he knows that he just needs to wait for his stun. They can focus Kitsuo, and here is the highlight moment, baby. Winnie over the wall, smiting to make sure he's going to survive. He can't get chased from Robbie Bob. And we saw the impact of those double buffs.
Yeah, we saw it firsthand. Robbie Bob felt it. As you could see, even Young getting that double buff is so big. He gave himself such a nice little bit of a cushion too. Really got to lay in the aggression to Robbie Bob. But game currently with only a 1K difference. Mountain Drag was secured by AOE Esports. So starting off things pretty good for themselves.
AOE is feeling comfy in this game. But that being said, there is very strong scaling on the side of Team Pending. That's why you draft Corki, that's why you draft Kog'Maw, but this is exactly what I was highlighting earlier. Young gets priority in the mid lane because he has an item advantage. He hovers down towards the bot side, Winnie hovers down as well, and look at Masu and Chukis. They simply cannot play the game right now. They're going to lose multiple waves, they're going to lose a plate or two, and the only hope is Katsuo maybe finding something out of Young.
Yeah, and he's going to go for it. He's spinning the win, baby. Young is in a world of hurt, and that is going to be a shutdown going over, but into the bot lane. Winnie is here, and the cannon is free firing. Masu gets chomped, and he goes down. Not going to be able to find anybody with the passive. Lay a little bit more damage onto Winnie. Nice use of the shield there. Almost trading a kill, but Winnie makes it out alive. Kitsuo looking to put a halt to that, though, is going to be able to spot Winnie. Flashes for it and secures the kill.
We've got fights all across the map, Travesty. Fights in the mid lane, 2 fights going down in the bot lane, but honestly, Team Pending, not too sad with that. The real major downside for them is the fact that Kog'Maw dies and loses a couple of waves. Let's take a look at how this bot lane dive unfolded. We see that there's a stacked wave for AoE, and I want to highlight here, look at the usage of the pillar combined with the Ziggs ultimate. Makes it so Masu simply cannot dodge it. He has no hope of getting out of it. They drop tower aggro when he realizes that all they need to do is take up tower aggro again and get that kill. And that is about as well as you could play a dive as possible. That is perfectly played, and if it wasn't for Kitsuo being in the right place, they would have gotten out of there scot-free, but Kitsuo with 2 great plays across the map, keeping Team Pending in it in this early game.
Yeah, very good stuff coming out from this squad, and that was dancing on the edge. That's what we see from AOE Esports. They like to go for these aggressive moves, and it's usually helmed by Winston when he makes movements like this, so Winnie looking very comfortable currently.
One thing that we haven't not highlighted yet is this Ashe ultimate has a lot of potency against the team composition for Team Pending. Not a lot of tools to dodge it. Topo with the ultimate in on Winnie.
The call at the Forge God being used. He's going to get subjugated immediately, though. They want the smoke, though. Not going to find it. Young unleashes power, and that is Topo going down. Kitsuo soon to follow. Chukis has to flash over the wall, but Skytech is laying in those slows. Robbie Bob has to Valkyrie out. Young looking to still find him and scatter him as he finds him. It is a lot of damage still ongoing. The flash forward, but Chukis
Robbie!
is here. This is perfect. Robbie Bob, with the help of Chukis, comes out on top.
Wow, overchase from AoE means not only do they lose 2 lives, they don't get Herald either. That's huge. Look at this from Robbie Bob, realizing that he's got Chukis on the way. Flashes the damage coming in from Syndra, and Chukis is the MVP here. And these 2 kills back onto Corki mean everything, because on the bottom left of your screen right now, you're seeing Kitsuo take the Herald. So that's a double kill onto your scaling Corki, that's 2 assists onto Lulu, and it's Kitsuo taking Herald right now. He should secure it just now. And that's massive, because if they can use this Rift Herald in a lane, they can close this 2,500 gold lead, and they can really try to get themselves in a good spot going into the mid game.
Yeah, that's what they want to be in, too. And look, they just bought themselves some valuable gold onto Robbie Bob, a player that has been built upon inside this team. It does give him some sacrifices here, though. Masu is so dangerously low, and these arrows are terrifying. As actually, curious enough, Ashe just got a serrated Dirk. Going for an Umbral Glaive, I guess, first item?
Yeah, Umbral Glaive here is going to mean a lot, because you have a team composition that wants to play from the Fog of War. You've got... Oh, not quite on the same page. Burning the Lulu ultimate and the flash at the same time instead of just burning one of them. But as I was saying, Umbral Glaive this game makes so much sense for Skytech, because they want to sit in Fog of War. They want Team Pending to have to face check them because the Syndra is going to be sitting there waiting. Ziggs burst damage to follow up on the Syndra stun. Skytech with his arrow from Fog of War. There's so many tools that make face checking so scary for Team Pending. So I love the itemization coming in from AOE, but this bot lane dominance means first tower of the game. It means the first 2 dragons of the game. And we're going to have to see Kitsuo make a play with this Rift Herald soon to stem the bleeding.
Major spot OP, man. That's all I got to say on that subject matter. As you can see, that Leandri's completed is just so hard for him to be able to do anything with it. And you can see Kitsuo is looking for a possible dive situation. Skytech's coming to assist, has that OP ability, the hawk shot.
Oh,
finds
there it is.
The mark. The dive has been spotted, but is it too late? Zamudo is the target, and he is going to find himself just getting cashed in on some plates.
So smart from Skytech, right? And this is what Skytech's known for. He's known for his beautiful map movements in the early game. Normally, it's seen paired up with Winnie, but right there we see Skytech realize, I have no purpose being bottom, but he's caught out!
Oh, he is caught out, and this is the dangers of playing the Ashe support. Caught out of position and immediately punished when he can't get into range. Ziggs can just throw some water balloons, but he's not able to make a splash.
I caster cursed him, Travis.
You did.
I'm so sorry, Skytech. The second I start praising you, he walks just a little bit too far forward and gets caught out. And that's the power of Ornn and Wukong in this composition. Because look, Young has no ability to dash away if their flash is down. Lynx and Skytech are sitting ducks as well. So if you can get a good engage onto these immobile members, TBA could just blow people up.
Yeah, this is a very scary situation to be inside of too. Getting more and more plates. You're trying to stop the demolition crew from demolishing this tower. But Ornn is not at that point where he can just tank all that damage, man. He's gotta watch out.
Lynx is walking around the map. Ziggs at this point in the game, it's about 1.5 plates that he needs. Ooh, great clone from Kitsuo. Burns 2 ultimates, the Trundle ultimate and the Ashe ultimate onto that clone, so they're not quite able to... Oh,
no!
Wow! What a pillar from Winnie.
There's a reason why you gotta watch out for Winnie and Robbie Bob here with vengeance on the mine, looking to fire out some rockets, but the volley is just enough. Lynx in a dangerous spot, will get dropped in the cove as he catches a rocket with the dome, and that is a kill for Robbie Bob in exchange for a tower.
Look at the scoreboard. They're down 5,000 gold, but Robbie Bob with 5 kills, and he's even in CS with Young. He is trying desperately to carry the early game alongside his teammates. Let's take a look at the total gold on the left-hand side. Zamudo, 1,000 gold ahead of anybody, thanks to some early tower plates, a CS lead. He's got about 11 CS per minute, Travesty, but there's Robbie Bob right up there.
Yeah.
Almost 2,000 gold ahead of anybody on his entire team, 1,500 ahead of Kitsuo. It's a lot of this rests on Robbie Bob's shoulders to try and hit that 2 or 3 item Corki power spike and bring the rest of his team alongside him, because he is not enough to carry this game alone. But if he can use his lead to get a couple of his other teammates back in the game, then Robbie Bob can really turn things around for AOE.
The interesting thing, too, is you do get to kind of see where the gold lead is, and they're looking to jump onto the person who has the most gold in the game. Zamudo gets hit by the Cyclone, and they are just going to heat seek upon him, but cannot find the mark. Zamudo gets out of the play, while on the other side, Masu gets taken for a walk as Lynx gets the kill in the mid.
I feel so bad for Masu, because every time the camera pans over to him, he's either dying to Ziggs or he's 1 HP because of the Ziggs. And it's really not his fault, because you have a Lulu support who cannot really help you. Kitsuo looking for an aggressive play.
Satchel charge was used. They used the call to Forge God. Bellowing Breath figures out the kill for him. But here's the problem. They are just barreling down the mid tower. This tower means nothing to them. Winnie trying to see if he'll be able to chomp it down, break down the brick. But it's not enough. Winnie dropped to half HP is the sign for AOE Esports to make a swift retreat. And now the siege is coming from Team Pending. There's objective bounties on the board, Dylan. They want a piece of it.
Young!
But look at Young getting onto him. Wildgrowth used. He sees him. The arrow doesn't find its mark. Skytech stopped his back. Winnie barely surviving. And Ashe is going to, after shooting that arrow, does not get spotted still.
Oh my gosh, this is just back and forth action travesty. Both teams duking it out, and you wouldn't really think there's a 6,000 gold lead for AOE because these fights and these plays are actually pretty close. We're seeing a lot of skirmishes where it's 1-for-1. I mean, even the kill total reflects it. 7 kills to 9 in total. You wouldn't think it would be such a dominant early game, but that is where the Ziggs comes in, right? You get all of those tower platings. Went bot lane, got all 5 tower platings. Went top lane, they got all 5 tower platings. They got multiple tower platings in the mid lane, and this turret is a sitting duck waiting for Lynx to get close enough to use his satchel charge. And the gold lead is just steadily growing over time thanks to all of this. It's going to take a big play from Team Pending to try and turn things around, and they have their eyes set on this dragon to do exactly that.
AOE looking to put on a class on how to pick a team comp and how to play it to a T as they're looking to get around this. But Robbie Bob has packed.
Oh, the poke!
Robbie Bob getting dropped to so low, has to dodge everything, the bombs and everything firing across Adam. Young is looking to assassinate him. Robbie Bob barely staying alive, but look at this. When he gets dropped, Kitsuo finds the kill. The Wild Grip is there. The Wukong goes golden. Young still focused on trying to secure that kill. It is the Wukong dropping the scatter the weak hits, but it's not enough to finish off Lulu. AOE Esports, though, do find the team fight dub, and they will get themselves their 3rd dragon.
Huge team fight from AOE, just cementing their dominance in this game. And look at how this starts. Wow, what an absolutely massive barrel chain, I believe, coming in from Zamudo to really blow up Robbie Bob. And we highlighted in draft that Zamudo was the main attack damage source on this team. He needed to have a good early game to make sure that the team had well-balanced damage. And he did exactly that. He has the most gold in the game. He's dealing some of the most damage in the game. And Zamudo, alongside Lynx and alongside Young, they're blowing everybody up. There's simply nobody on Team Pending, including the Ornn, that can tank that damage thanks to Winnie's ultimate.
By the way, I love the fact that Zamudo has, he's bought second item Infinity Edge, but he has the crit cloaks to back it up, so he does still get the passive. And he's just like, I just want damage. He doesn't want a mythic. He's already legendary right now. 2-0-4. This Gangplank is online. It's on fire, and he has that first strike because he is hitting first, and he is hitting swiftly in every single one of these fights. This is Herald. Now, for AOE Esports, and they are just moving around the map so swiftly and just with no trouble at all.
It's really tough to see a world in which Team Pending can find their way back into this game because their outer turrets are destroyed. Rift Herald means that AOE Esports is going to look to push in for a tier 2. They have their eyes set on this top tier 2 with this wave currently. And Team Pending really has no engage tools. There's the arrow as well.
The bomb.
Ziggs ultimate.
Okay, that damage is there. Winnie is here to cut off any escape. Goodbye, Robbie Bob. And that is the biggest threat from Team Pending. Off the map for 30 seconds. Herald is going to be crashing into this top tower. This could be an inhibitor.
Yeah, it definitely could be, and it's not too early to take an inhibitor either. It's 20 minutes into the game. You've got the Ziggs satchel charge to secure this turret as well. Kitsuo desperately looking for an engage, cannot find it. And you're exactly right, Travesty. This should be an inhibitor going over to AoE. Topo's got something to say about
the
it.
Forge God, they go into Young. This is a big member, and he's gone. Kog'Maw gets the shutdown, and now Winnie is exhausted in the middle of the fight. A beautiful flash from Matsu. Make sure he doesn't get hit by the crystal arrow. They're able to stay alive for a little bit longer, but now it's Matsu. The cavalry has arrived. Robbie Bob has respawned, and he is taking Lies revenge. Never tasted so sweet. As they're looking to fire off a little bit more rockets, Robbie Bob is still in hot pursuit of Lynx, looking to see what he can do, but has to walk through this minefield. The rocket's hurting with that Luden's Echo, but Skytech is there to give the slows to make sure that the chase is halted. And you can see exactly how this fight turns out.
Yeah, Topo opening it up with his ultimate here, and a little bit of an overstay here. I think AoE had a little bit of false confidence that they could secure the inhibitor, but all in all, the fight's not even that bad. You burn Kog'Maw Flash, you're able to secure 2 turrets in the top lane. And the thing is, Robbie Bob does get more gold here. He gets the kill onto Winnie. He also, chases them down as well. Robbie Bob is the key to winning these team fights for Team Pending. So much damage already coming out from him. He's almost able to take down Lynx. Not quite enough. But Robbie's going to need a few more team fights like that. Another item or 2 under his belt before he's dealing the damage necessary to actually carry the team fights for Team Pending. But take a look at Masu's damage. That flash away from Skytech's arrow actually meant a lot because he was pumping out damage in that fight.
Yeah, he is looking good. Kog'Maw does a disgusting amount of damage. Has that Rage Blade completed? You know, it's a lot, and the front line has to deal with that. When he does get shredded by this, if he's not careful, the big thing to highlight is the fact that AOE Esports has started off their team fights by destroying the Kog'Maw's HP bar, and that time they weren't able to get onto the Kog'Maw. That could be a scary thing as the game goes on later.
Yeah, certainly. If you cannot get onto Kog'Maw and the Corki, then Team Pending has a window back into the game, because as we were looking at the gold earlier, Robbie Bob is on pace with the rest of AOE. It's just that his team is so far behind. So if Robbie Bob can actually find footing in these team fights and really pump out the damage, Masu's going to just be dealing damage naturally as the Kog'Maw paired alongside the Lulu. Wait, look at where Kitsuo is. How has he weaseled his way here? He's going to find Skytech.
Yeah, he finds Skytech, and the Call to Forge God was used in the mid lane as well.
Oh,
Skytech!
no!
Oh! He has the 3000 IQ play, makes it out, and Kitsuo pays! The big purple worm is the target now. They are going to walk away from that as they see the low HP bars. They're limping away from a fight in the mid lane. Winnie chasing down Robbie Bob. The arrow hits. Locked and loaded. Masu dropped as well. Robbie Bob gets the wild growth, but he is going to find himself decimated all the same as Winnie is looking to subjugate Topo. Will find that kill. Chucky's the only member of Team Pending left standing.
Poor Lulu sprinting away from the team fight. Lulu is going to get hunted down and killed more than likely, but there is a world. Ooh, Skytech's not going to let Chuki's off the hook. That's Dragon Soul secured for AOE Esports. They're walking over to Baron to do that as well. And Chuki's is just going to be kept on a leash. And I really like this because it means that Chuki's can't base. And if he doesn't die, then that means he can't really rejoin a team fight later. And there's the arrow. Just keep stopping the base. I love it from AOE. Oh, but they got it.
This is a lesson in bullying here. The pillar's gonna come out. Chucky's is getting bullied. Give me your lunch money. Winnie is hungry as he finds the kill finally. Look at this again. Skytech with the big brain play.
I did not think ankles could be broken in League of Legends. I thought that was a basketball thing. Skytech out there absolutely just styling on Kitsuo, and that meant so much because the kill onto Skytech would have given TBA a little bit of footing within that fight, but they actually don't get really anything at all. We saw Masu go toe-to-toe with Young, and he was able to actually take down Young. Robbie Bob getting the thing started.
They get the crystal arrow, doesn't find a mark either. Kitsuo is still spinning around, but he ain't winning, son. Winnie is going to be on a rampage. Robbie Bob is getting hit by the artillery. They have no way into the fight. Robbie Bob has a critical HP and just jumps right into the minefield. His HP bar is gone, and AOE Esports stocks are going up.
AOE Esports just dominating from start to finish, but I do like that Team Pending is willing to start the fight on their terms. They know they're far behind. They know they're desperate to try and get back into the game, so they look for any and all windows to try and find an engage there. But Robbie Bob and Kitsuo just don't have the damage to actually really secure multiple kills with their engage. Maybe they can get one, but they're never going to get more than that at this point. And that's Baron for AoE. The arrow coming in, Capo might die.
Yeah, that's from all the way in base. The stun goes up the further you are away and gets the snipe that is needed, almost getting the life of Topo as he will get away from all of this action. AOE Esports looking to barrel down the mid lane. Chucky's trying to do what he can to save his Kog'Maw's life. Winnie is having none of it. Young is over here on the side. Doesn't catch out Masu. But this is
Skytech has arrow again.
It's just gone.
Oh my gosh, they might not expect Skytech's arrow to be up this fast. He might be able to look for some sort of an engage with it. But look at Team Pending. They're watching their base get crumbled here. Ash still has the ultimate, not quite looking. Here goes Topo.
The Forge God. Robbie Bob's over here on
They
the side,
found
but the
him.
arrow finds him, hits him with the 180. Young gets the kill, and it's TBA losing the fight inside their base as it is just the members of AOE are just too strong in the game. The weak gets scattered, and T Pending have to go back to the drawing board. 3 members of AOE bearing down on the base.
Yeah, this might be all she wrote. With the Ziggs, these towers are going down so fast. Kitsuo looking. Are they going to stay around? Ooh, they're poking their head in.
Oh,
Flirting
the
with
arrow
ending the game.
hits
The
him.
arrow.
The bomb is there. They can't finish off Skytech. It's a disaster for him. Robbie Bob will be up, but Ziggs should be able to finish off this. Net says it is a kill, but Team Pending do have to go back to the drawing board. AOE Esports, 27 minutes in, a 13K gold lead. What a statement.
That is exactly it. That is a statement win from the side of AOE Esports. And while the kills were close for most of that game, the gold was very one-sided throughout. That gold chart that we saw during the middle of the game, it was steadily going up for the side of AOE Esports. And that is the kind of win you want in the first game, because now it plants all sorts of seeds within Team Pending's mind. Do you have to worry about Ashe support again? Do you have to worry about Ziggs ADC again? All of these champions that normally you weren't really expecting to play against had incredible showings there. And young Syndra, amazing. Winnie's Trundle, a staple champion for him. And Zamudo's Gangplank, we're seeing why teams did not let him have it.
I'm just amazed, because it's also just like, you look at this, look at the damage chart between like everybody. Identify the threat. Who was the threat inside this game? Oh wow, it was just everybody. Like, we got to see Winnie was unhinged, just like his jaw was, because he was chomping into anything that he could possibly see. Zamudo was just absolutely phenomenal in the game blank, like you were highlighting. Young Syndra was great, and this bot lane duo of this Ziggs Ashe gave them so many resources that even though the kills were even throughout the game, as you were talking about, as you can see in this gold difference over time, just look at how it just constantly is building. There is no huge dips. It felt like AOE really just didn't make errors inside of the game with the composition they chose.
Perfectly played game from AOE, honestly. And I'm interested to see what sort of picks and bans happen in game 2 to change up the style that they're going to be playing. Because I think if they can get their hands on Ziggs plus Ashe again, they're going to do it.
Not to say, Team Pending is the team that's willing to bring some spice and everything nice into their draft. So we're going to take ourselves a short little break, and when we come back, we are going to be going into game number 2 between Team Pending and AOE Esports. So make sure you do not touch that browser.